Samuel 19. Now it was reported to Joab that the king was weeping and mourning for his son. And so the victory on that day was turned into mourning for all the people. For the people heard it said on that day, "The king is grieving over his son." And the people declined to enter the city on that day, in the manner that the people were accustomed to decline if they had turned and fled from battle. And the king covered his head, and he was crying out in a great voice, "My son, Absalom! Absalom, my son, my son!" Therefore, Joab, entering to the king in the house, said, "Today you have shamed the faces of all your servants, who saved your life, and the lives of your sons and your daughters, and the lives of your wives, and the lives of your concubines. You love those who hate you, and you hate those who love you. And you have revealed this day that you have no concern for your leaders and for your servants. And truly, I know now that if Absalom had lived, and if we all had been killed, then it would have pleased you. Now then, rise up and go out, and speak so as to make amends to your servants. For I swear to you by the Lord that if you will not go forth, not even one person will be left with you this night. And this will be worse for you than all the evils that have come to you, from your youth even to the present." Therefore, the king rose up, and he sat at the gate. And it was announced to all the people that the king was sitting at the gate. And the entire multitude went before the king. But Israel fled to their own tents. And all the people were conflicted, in all the tribes of Israel, saying, "The king has freed us from the hand of our enemies. He himself saved us from the hand of the Philistines. But now he flees from the land for the sake of Absalom. But Absalom, whom we anointed over us, has died in the war. How long will you be silent, and not lead back the king?" Then truly, King David sent to Zadok and Abiathar, the priests, saying, "Speak to those greater by birth of Judah, saying, Why have you arrived last to lead back the king into his house? You are my brothers, you are my bone and my flesh. Why are you the last to lead back the king? And say to Amasa, Are you not my bone and my flesh? May God do these things, and may he add these other things, if you will not be the leader of the military in my sight, for all time, in the place of Joab." And he inclined the heart of all the men of Judah, as if one man. And they sent to the king, saying, "Return, you and all your servants." And the king returned. And he went as far as the Jordan, and all of Judah went as far as Gilgal, so as to meet the king, and to lead him across the Jordan. And Shimei, the son of Gera, the son of Benjamin, from Bahurim, hurried and descended with the men of Judah to meet King David. With 1,000 men from Benjamin, and with Ziba, the servant from the house of Saul. And with him were his 15 sons and 20 servants. And going into the Jordan, they crossed the fords before the king, so that they might lead across the house of the king, and might act in accord with his order. Then, Shimei, the son of Gera, prostrating himself before the king after he had now gone across the Jordan, said to him, "May you not impute to me, my lord, the iniquity, nor call to mind the injuries, of your servant in the day that you, my lord the king, departed from Jerusalem. And may you not store it up in your heart, O king. For as your servant, I acknowledge my sin. And for this reason, today, I arrive as the first from all the house of Joseph, and I descend to meet my lord the king." Yet truly, Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, responding, said, "Should not Shimei, because of these words, be killed, since he cursed the Christ of the Lord?" And David said, "What is it to me and to all of you, O sons of Zeruiah? Why are you acting toward me this day like Satan? Why should any man be put to death on this day in Israel? Or do you not know that today I have been made king over Israel?" And the king said to Shimei, "You shall not die." And he swore to him. And Mephibosheth, the son of Saul, descended to meet the king, with unwashed his feet and uncut beard. And he had not washed his garments from the day that the king had departed, until the day of his return in peace. And when he had met the king at Jerusalem, the king said to him, "Why did you not go with me, Mephibosheth?" And in response, he said, "My lord the king, my servant spurned me. And I, your servant, spoke to him so that he might saddle a donkey for me, and I might climb upon it and go with the king. For I, your servant, am lame." Moreover, he also accused me, your servant, to you, my lord the king. But you, my lord the king, are like an angel of God. Do whatever is pleasing to you. For my father's house was deserving of nothing but death before my lord the king. Yet you have placed me, your servant, among the guests of your table. Therefore, what just complaint might I have? Or what else can I cry out to the king?" Then the king said to him, "Why are you still speaking? What I have spoken is fixed. You and Ziba shall divide the possessions." And Mephibosheth responded to the king, "But now let him take it all, since my lord the king has been returned peacefully into his own house." Likewise, Barzillai the Gileadite, descending from Rogelim, led the king across the Jordan, having prepared also to follow him beyond the river. Now Barzillai the Gileadite was very old, that is, 80 years old. And he provided the king with sustenance when he was staying at the encampment. For indeed, he was an exceedingly rich man. And so the king said to Barzillai, "Come with me, so that you may rest securely with me in Jerusalem." And Barzillai said to the king, "How many days remain in the years of my life, that I should go up with the king to Jerusalem? Today I am 80 years old. Are my senses quick to discern sweet and bitter? Or is food and drink able to delight your servant? Or can I still hear the voice of men and women singers? Why should your servant be a burden to my lord the king? I, your servant, shall proceed a little ways from the Jordan with you. I am not in need of this recompense. But I beg you that I, your servant, may be returned and may die in my own city, and may be buried beside the sepulchre of my father and my mother. But there is your servant Chimham, let him go with you, my lord the king. And do for him whatever seems good to you." And so the king said to him, "Let Chimham cross over with me, and I will do for him whatever will be pleasing to you. And all that you ask of me, you shall obtain." And when the entire people and the king had crossed over the Jordan, the king kissed Barzillai, and he blessed him. And he returned to his own place. Then the king went on to Gilgal, and Chimham went with him. Now all the people of Judah had led the king across, but only as much as 1/2 part of the people of Israel were there. And so, all the men of Israel, running to the king, said to him, "Why have our brothers, the men of Judah, stolen you away? And why have they led the king and his house across the Jordan, and all the men of David with him?" And all the men of Judah responded to the men of Israel, "Because the king is nearer to me. Why are you angry over this matter? Have we eaten anything belonging to the king, or have any gifts been given to us?" And the men of Israel responded to the men of Judah, and said, "I have the greater amount, 10 parts, with the king, and so David belongs to me more so than to you. Why have you caused me injury, and why was it not announced to me first, so that I might lead back my king?" But the men of Judah answered more firmly than the men of Israel. Samuel 20. And it happened that there was, in that place, a man of Belial, whose name was Sheba, the son of Bichri, a man of Benjamin. And he sounded the trumpet, and he said, "There is no portion for us in David, nor any inheritance in the son of Jesse. Return to your own tents, O Israel." And all of Israel separated from David, and they were following Sheba, the son of Bichri. But the men of Judah clung to their king, from the Jordan as far as Jerusalem. And when the king had entered his house at Jerusalem, he took the 10 women concubines, whom he had left behind to care for the house, and he put them into custody, allowing them provisions. But he did not enter to them. Instead, they were enclosed, even until the day of their deaths, living as widows. Then the king said to Amasa, "Summon to me all the men of Judah on the 3rd day, and you shall be present also." Therefore, Amasa went away, so that he might summon Judah. But he delayed beyond the agreed time that the king had appointed to him. And David said to Abishai, "Now Sheba, the son of Bichri, will afflict us more so than Absalom did. Therefore, take the servants of your lord, and pursue him, otherwise he may find fortified cities, and escape from us." And so, the men of Joab departed with him, along with the Cherethites and the Pelethites. And all the able-bodied men went out from Jerusalem to pursue Sheba, the son of Bichri. And when they were beside the great stone, which is in Gibeon, Amasa came to meet them. Now Joab was wearing a close-fitting coat of equal length with his garment. And over these, he was girded with a sword hanging down to his thigh, in a scabbard which was made so that the sword could be removed with the least motion, and then strike. Then Joab said to Amasa, "Be well, my brother." And he held Amasa by the chin with his right hand, as if to kiss him. But Amasa did not notice the sword that Joab had. And he struck him in the side, and his intestines poured out to the ground. And he did not inflict a second wound, and he died. Then Joab and his brother Abishai pursued Sheba, the son of Bichri. Meanwhile, certain men, from the company of Joab, when they had stopped beside the dead body of Amasa, said, "Behold, the one who wished to be in the place of Joab, the companion of David." Now Amasa was covered with blood, and was lying in the middle of the road. A certain man saw this, with all the people standing nearby to look at him, and he removed Amasa from the road into a field. And he covered him with a garment, so that those passing by would not stop because of him. Then, when he had been removed from the road, all the men continued on, following Joab in the pursuit of Sheba, the son of Bichri. Now he had passed through all the tribes of Israel into Abel and Beth-maachah. And all the elect men had gathered together to him. And so, they went and besieged him at Abel and Beth-maachah. And they surrounded the city with siege works, and the city was blockaded. Then the entire crowd who were with Joab strove to destroy the walls. And a wise woman exclaimed from the city, "Listen, listen, and say to Joab, 'Draw near, and I will speak with you.'" And when he had drawn near to her, she said to him, "Are you Joab?" And he responded, "I am." And she spoke in this way to him, "Listen to the words of your handmaid." He responded, "I am listening." And again she spoke. A word was said in the old proverb, "Those who would inquire, let them inquire in Abel," and so they would reach a conclusion. Am I not the one who responds with the truth in Israel? And yet you are seeking to overthrow the city, and to overturn a mother in Israel. Why would you cast down the inheritance of the Lord? And responding, Joab said, May this be far from me. May I not cast down, and may I not demolish. The matter is not as you said. Rather, a man from Mount Ephraim, Sheba, the son of Bichri, by name, has lifted up his hand against King David. Deliver him alone, and we will withdraw from the city. And the woman said to Joab, Behold, his head will be thrown down to you from the wall. Therefore, she entered to all the people, and she spoke to them wisely. And they cut off the head of Sheba, the son of Bichri, and they threw it down to Joab. And he sounded the trumpet, and they withdrew from the city, each one to his own tent. But Joab returned to Jerusalem to the king. Thus Joab was over the entire army of Israel. And Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the Cherethites and Pelethites. Yet truly, Adoram was over the tributes. And Jehoshaphat, the son of Ahilud, was the keeper of records. Now Sheva was the scribe. And truly Zadok and Abiathar were the priests. But Ira, the Jerite, was the priest of David. Samuel 21. And a famine occurred, during the days of David, for 3 years continuously. And David consulted the oracle of the Lord. And the Lord said, This is because of Saul, and his house of bloodshed. For he killed the Gibeonites. Therefore, the king, calling for the Gibeonites, spoke to them. Now the Gibeonites were not of the sons of Israel, but were the remnant of the Amorites. And the sons of Israel had sworn an oath to them, but Saul wished to strike them in zeal, as if on behalf of the sons of Israel and Judah. Therefore, David said to the Gibeonites, "What shall I do for you? And what shall be your satisfaction, so that you may bless the inheritance of the Lord?" And the Gibeonites said to him, "There is no quarrel for us over silver or gold, but against Saul and against his house. And we do not desire that any man of Israel be put to death." The king said to them, "Then what do you wish that I should do for you?" And they said to the king, "The man who unjustly afflicted and oppressed us, we ought to destroy in such manner that not even one of his stock may be left behind in all the parts of Israel. Let 7 men from his sons be given to us, so that we may crucify them to the Lord in Gibeon of Saul, formerly the chosen place of the Lord." And the king said, "I will give them." But the king spared Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, because of the oath of the Lord which had been made between David and Jonathan, the son of Saul. And so the king took the 2 sons of Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, whom she bore to Saul, Armoni and Mephibosheth, and the 5 sons of Michal, the daughter of Saul, whom she conceived of Adriel, the son of Barzillai, who was from Mahalath. And he gave them into the hands of the Gibeonites. And they crucified them on a hill in the sight of the Lord. And these 7 fell together in the first days of the harvest, when the barley is beginning to be reaped. Then Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, taking a haircloth, spread it under herself on a rock, from the beginning of the harvest until water dropped from heaven upon them. And she did not permit the birds to tear them by day, nor the beasts by night. And it was reported to David what Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, the concubine of Saul, had done. And David went and took the bones of Saul, and the bones of his son Jonathan, from the men of Jabesh Gilead, who had stolen them from the street of Bethshan, where the Philistines had suspended them after they had slain Saul at Gilboa. And he brought the bones of Saul, and the bones of his son Jonathan, from there. And they collected the bones of those who had been crucified. And they buried them with the bones of Saul and his son Jonathan, in the land of Benjamin, to the side of the sepulchre of his father Kish. And they did all that the king had instructed. And after these things, God showed favor again to the land. Then the Philistines again undertook a battle against Israel. And David descended, and his servants with him, and they fought against the Philistines. But when David grew faint, Ishbi-benob, who was of the ancestry of Arapha, the iron of whose spear weighed 300 ounces, who had been girded with a new sword, strove to strike down David. And Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, defended him, and striking the Philistine, he killed him. Then David's men swore an oath to him, saying, "You shall no longer go out to war with us, lest you extinguish the lamp of Israel." Also, a second war occurred in Gob against the Philistines. Then Sibbecai from Hushah struck down Zaph, from the stock of Arapha, of the ancestry of the giants. Then there was a third war in Gob against the Philistines, in which Adiodatus, a son of the forest, a weaver from Bethlehem, struck down Goliath the Gittite, the shaft of whose spear was like the beam used by a clothmaker. A fourth battle was in Gath. In that place, there was a lofty man, who had 6 digits on each hand and each foot, that is, 24 in all, and he was from the origins of Arapha. And he blasphemed Israel. So Jonathan, the son of Shimei, the brother of David, struck him down. These 4 men were born of Arapha in Gath, and they fell by the hand of David and his servants. Thank you for watching. If you like the content on this channel, please press subscribe, the like button or comment below. We'd love to get your tips. See you next time.